Hey you guys, this is Alex867539, and I have to say, I don't rant very often, but I have to say, today I feel just like doing that. First I'm going to give you guys some updates. Right now we are almost done with Let's Play Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. I am sorry that it's taking these sporadic uploads again. It's kind of something I can't help, as for the fact I still don't have a reliable internet source. I probably won't have one until November, so at November we can really look forward to that. I'm gonna try sticking with 720p because I love the quality that I'm getting in 720. Not gonna go to 1080 though, because I think that's a bit much, especially because you can't tell the difference and it's just stretching a 480i video even more. I am going to be doing the Metroid-Database on hard mode, and I watched the Metroid Prime Let's Play, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking I might as well just redo that one while I'm at it. And then, I believe I'm going to finish up with Zero Mission soon, and then go to Fusion, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, that's what you could pretty much look forward to. Yeah, so, I guess I'm just going to start ranting. I do want to say, though, when I first start off, I'm gonna I'll tell you what kind of a fan I am, because that will definitely decide a little bit. I'm not I'm a big fan of the Metroid series, but I'm not what would be considered a fanboy and have to say every single game is totally amazing and 100% perfect. No. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. I will tell you if I don't like a game. And this game isn't bad. I have to say it's not the best, but it's not like totally horrible, I want to burn it. Alright. Now, I'm gonna just let you know one thing. I wanted to do this rant now so I don't end up doing this in a Let's Play or anything. I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna be playing in the meantime. But, essentially, there are just a couple things that me and my friends have been discussing. Number one, the whole Samus thing, number one. People complain saying that she's too... how do I put it? Okay, excuse the language, but bitchy. That's the famous word that I've heard, and they've said, what happened to the badass Samus that we all knew? Right? Well, there's a couple things I need to say. Number one, as the Metroid fan I have read through the original Metroid mangas. And you know what? I have to say, they're not bad, and it's the same Samus. Yeah, the same Samus is in there. She was insecure and just all over naive. So, has anything changed? No, it's the original Samus that we all have grown to know and love. Also, if you look at Metroid Fusion, yes, Samus never talked, but there was text. A lot of people said, oh yeah, that doesn't count, and I'm like, yeah, it does. If you put her text into the context of this Samus, it's the same thing. I would suggest trying playing through Metroid Fusion again if you didn't like the game. Now, just a little bit of theory here. A lot of people also were complaining about the control scheme of the game. If you are one of those people that can't play a game or can't say a game is good because it has no D-pad or if it's not in HD, please just grow up. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I'm like, really? You're gonna turn down a game just because it doesn't work with the D-pad? See, right now, look how fluid I am actually moving. Right, I'm moving pretty good. for a D-pad. And it's because I've grown up on a D-pad. Super Nintendo and NES all the way. This is nothing new to me. Actually, I kind of prefer this over the analog stick. Because if you think about it, usually on a controller, what's the first thing that breaks? The analog stick, and then guess what? You have to go out and buy a full new controller. That's why I like the whole D-pad idea that they're trying to get at. Because I love D-pads. I just think that they work 10 times better, in my opinion. Now the overall animation and playstyle of this game is, I have to say, perfect. I could actually live without the first-person mode. I'm not a big fan of FPSs. I like these side-scrolling puzzle games. That's why this game really worked for me. Now, also, with the person that did the voice acting, a lot of people apparently don't like how she did it. You have to be aware, an emotionless character is really hard to play. Especially when the emotionless character starts showing hints of emotion. I love that voice still. I love how that voice does that. For the elevators. But, and there was also another one that I thought was hilarious. They're just making Samus take her suit off to show off her body. And I have to say, I actually kind of laughed at that one, because I'm like, wow, these guys are really not good at this, because, it's pretty much common knowledge among the big Metroid fans that Samus's suit isn't something that she could just take off. You know, it's not like something that she takes off and then hangs up. And, I mean, if you guys know what I'm talking about, good. Then I could tell you guys really like this series. But, literally, it's not something that you can just take off and say, haha, look at it, I just took my suit off. No. It's literally a part of her DNA. I already killed that. Okay, I guess I was one shot off. Maybe that one bounced off. But, that's the thing. She can't just take it off. No. But she can't just put it on either. She has to be fully concentrated on keeping her suit on. Because it requires a lot of her mind power to actually stay on and running. That's why I know a lot of us couldn't be Chozo Warriors. But, overall, though, the thing is, the whole point of this was to show, wait a minute, so what happens if, for instance, Adam dies? I'm sorry if I spoiled that for anybody, but come on. Everybody kind of knew it. The thing is, if she is emotionally compromised, which I would say having her best friend slash father figure die, I would say that's pretty emotionally compromised, wouldn't you? I mean, I would have to say that is pretty bad. Alright, now, for missiles. Concentration. She has to concentrate to keep her suit up. The missiles are literally, if you think about it, stuff that her suits makes. So don't you think she could concentrate to also make it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now overall, the whole concentrating on the suit thing will pretty much explain it. Also, I would say if you were surprised to see a baby Metroid about to kill it, then get shot in the back, I'd have to say you probably overloaded the suit you probably overloaded the suit, number one. And then number two, I'd be pretty surprised too to get shot in the back. So as I can imagine, Yeah, that would pretty much leave me emotionally compromised. Now, let's see the next one. The thing that I really don't like is that people complaining about, oh, there's so many texture glitches in the game. Well, not texture glitches, but, I don't know the exact wording, but clipping. No game's gonna be perfect with clipping because there would be so much coding involved. I mean, so much coding involved, it won't even be funny how much coding would have been involved. So, I know I look at it and I'm like, okay, as long as I can't walk through a wall, I'm good. Fair enough. If all of a sudden an enemy's tail goes into the wall, I'm fine with that, because, you know, I look at how everything works together. If there's like small glitches here and there, I won't mind them as much. You know what I mean? Literally, so, and not to mention every single game has that problem. I mean, you're not going to find one game that doesn't have one problem with clipping. Just because it's such a common problem. Alright, we have our nice little friends coming up. But, so literally, ouch. Now, that is one thing right there I think they could have done better, is the first person shooting and then you be facing the wrong way. They could have probably changed directions, and I think it probably would have been better. And also with these pop-up hints, I think they probably could have said, hey, I think you're kind of getting it by now. And see, they didn't do that bad with the clipping, because at least it knows when to stop. You know, in most cases. So I mean, I'm pretty forgiving on that. Now, for the puzzles were perfect. I can't say anything more about it. Some of them were too easy, but then some of them were just. I remember how fun these Metroid puzzles actually are. Now, I'm going to get off a little bit on my rant, and I'm going to start talking about how some people right now are angry with Nintendo for not doing anything on the Metroid 25th anniversary. Number one, I would be iffy about having a 25th anniversary on a flop, you know, on a series that just had a huge game flop. Of course I would. I mean, I'd be like, well, maybe this series isn't selling as much as I thought it was. Right? It's just logic sense.
Like something had been raised in it.
You know, it makes perfect sense why you would do something like that. Also, they might still be planning something, who knows? Because Metroid in Japan flopped. Because it was released for the Famicom Disk System, which was an extremely expensive portion of the original Famicom system. So you had to buy the new part for this new game. Why would you do that? Just curious. Alright, here's an example of the hard part that people had. Look how fluid of the motion I'm doing. I'm kidding. Does this look not fluid at all? I'm telling you. I'm like, come on. Yes, it's a D-pad. Get over it. It returns back to the original NES. But, in the US is the only reason why Metroid survived. If it weren't for the US, Metroid wouldn't be here. Because they sold it for the NES system, which did not require an extra part. So literally, that's why we did good. Now a lot of people say the game isn't pretty enough. Now I just want to say, who in the world's idea was that? Look at this. You could literally read these screens. Well, if it was more high def it would, but still. The textures are good. Everything's great. I don't understand how people could say that. Now, a lot of people say this game's too linear. Well, guess what? So was Metroid Fusion, but guess what? That game sold. Now, a lot of people wanted Samus to go rogue. in this game, and I'm like, why would she do that against her commanding officer that she has so much respect for? Now, for like glitches, like the Sector 3 glitch, Nintendo already pushed this game off. Think about it, it was supposed to be released June 13th, I believe it was.
Proceed through the hatch I just unlocked. Your next destination is...
But they pushed it off till August. Too many bugs. Right? Because they made this engine from scratch. They were totally... I mean, they literally made everything from scratch. So, of course there's going to be bugs on a first run. But, the thing is that they're sitting there, and they go through it, and they missed a major glitch. I'm sorry for all those people that got stuck in it, but I mean, I could see how, when exploring, you could easily fall into that. But Nintendo patched it. Alright, if you still have the problem, you could send it. You could send in your SD card to Nintendo, they'll pay for it. Just send it in. I mean, I could see how you could be frustrated with losing your save file and stuff, I'm sorry, but it's like... I mean... It's just a bug, just avoid it. I mean, I've seen people complain because they purposely looked for it, and I'm like, well, hey, it's your fault for purposely looking for it. Now, on to the eye-rolling part of Samus. You've already went through all of Sector 3. Now you could use your Varia suit. That one took me a little bit longer, because, of course, I kind of like, why would you give it to me now? I mean, that's kind of what was going through my head, too. But, if you think about it, not just through a difficulty aspect, right? Not just through how difficult is it. I also looked at comparing it to other games. Wow, I didn't even have to kill all those guys. But, I looked at essentially every single game up to this point. You've gotten your expansions when you kind of needed them to get further. So, I know I can't compare it to like Super Metroid or Metroid Prime, because you know what? It's not linear. Correct? So it's kind of hard to compare a non-linear game to a linear game. Now, let me put it this... Okay, now let me just say this. I do a lot of my comparing to Metroid Fusion, because it's it's kind of the same style game with the commanding officer, etc. Well, if you think about it this way. In Metroid Fusion, the Galactic Federation stopped sending Samus upgrades. Why? To stop her from destroying the X and getting into the area where they were raising Metroids. Right? So I'm like, okay, makes sense. Here. Well, here's the thing. In Metroid Fusion, the commanding officer, the computerized Adam, had to work right alongside the Galactic Federation. You know, he had to wait for their permission to do stuff, etc. I'm pretty sure Adam here is the same way. He probably has to wait for permission. Correct? Makes sense. And now think about it this way. Number one, not to mention to have the whole, hey, okay, I have to have this verified by the HQ. But if you also think about it, what was HQ doing on this ship? Right? They are doing illegal experiments on this ship. I would say that is a pretty big thing to not want Samus to discover. So, what happens is, I'm pretty sure it works like this. The Federation is kind of like, as the Federation, as some of the Federation people are in on this, they're probably like, huh, do we really want Samus becoming this powerful? Because we know if she finds out about this, she's going to want to destroy those Metroids. So, I'm pretty sure they stopped her from becoming too powerful, especially as the V-suit doesn't just protect from heat damage. It protects from sub-zero temperatures. So, Sector 0. What's that right next to? Sector 2, which is the sub-zero frozen temperatures. Does that make sense? They didn't want her going into that sector. Because if you think about it, that would be pretty stupid. You'd basically be putting her right in there. Especially because they release the Metroids in that area every once in a while based on the Metroid predation. Now, I also noticed this. They also don't want Samus to die. You know, because, I mean, she's one of the major helpers in this game, you know, in this essential universe that essentially saves the day. So, of course, would you want her to die? So, when they saw her, you know, being attacked by the Goyagma, I'm pretty sure that was a, hey, yeah, we might want to actually give her to that expansion. So, they were kind of forced to give it to her then. That's why Adam sounded so rushed, because it's like, oh, hey, we just decided to give it to her. Now, not having the power bombs at the very beginning. A lot of people even complained about this. It would have made you too overpowered. Especially how they work in this game. You could have just charged, ha ha ha, I just killed bosses. Up here, I could just kill the guy right now. I mean, literally. It would have been way too easy, and then they would have had another thing to complain about. Alright. Now, the next part is a lot of people said they don't like cinematic style games. If you ask me, Metroid is always about trying something new. Right? Let's experiment. I mean, they pilot and they essentially, the Metroid series is a giant experiment. That thing's gonna push me off. You guys just saw that? Okay. As I said, little tiny glitches, who cares? Is it just my luck at finding these glitches or what? Anyway, so my whole pet peeve about this, number one, is when people say they dropped the second storyline. I probably said this about 18 times now. For the guys that don't understand it, get over it. And play the game again. You know why? Because you just missed out on a whole lot. It's plainly obvious. Me and my friend have tracked the movement of the deleter to the key. If you look, James, who is undoubtedly the deleter, because it even says it in the concept art. Yeah, never thought about looking at the translated version of the concept art, did you? Yeah. It literally says he is the deleter. And well, I have to say, overall, if you look at it, it's undoubtedly obvious. Overall. You don't even need to look at the concept art. But James, number one. Actually, we're getting kind of close to the part. If we made it to the, can't even remember what it's called now. The, you know, the place where you start learning where, you know, and what's going on exactly. You know, after all this, of just learning how to play the game. You start learning what's going on. Why was James there early? Notice, Lyle wasn't there. So James made it there early, and Lyle was apparently not there. James could have easily gotten there about 20 minutes early, had enough time to dispose of James, cause a little snack for Ridley, I mean, overall, James right there started looking suspicious to me. Because I'm like, and not to mention, he was messing with the computer. The CPU destructed. Self-destructed. No, I think James did something to the CPU while he was under it. I mean, it's common sense. And there's even more evidence. Now, I'm not trying to be racist to Japanese people or anything. KJ is the second best fit for who could have been the deleter. Because you just never saw him. Well, number one, if you notice, the person that was thrown into lava, number one, he's the shortest of the dead troopers. Yeah, I would have to say that is... Sadly, KJ was one of the shorter people into the group. So, if you ask me, he was the one thrown in the lava. Then, also, if you look at James, the way that his gun and belt is on, you know, the way that his gun and stuff is on his belt. If I'm correct, he's the only one that wears it like that. And it's the same as the way the deleter wears it. Now, don't count me on 100% on that one. That's just that thing that popped out to me that I thought I noticed. Maybe I just something I didn't notice exactly. But, overall, it's just something that I did notice. Not to mention, if you notice also, James was the one found inside the same room that, that had, you know, MB in it and everything, you know, so it's like you kind of figure, yeah, it's kind of, odd that he would be inside the same room that we had that little mysterious cutscene happen. You know what I mean? Thank you. But yeah, so overall, it's just a couple things that I've picked up on. Why would that happen? So, it's like a good book. They want you to read in between the lines. Which apparently, some people are not smart enough to do yet. And if you're not smart enough to do it, start playing the children's games again, because you're not apparently only good at playing the game and not actually good at paying attention to a story. Because I'm like, this story to me was painfully obvious what was going on. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm like, wait a minute, how could Metroids be in here? I'm like, unless they tried doing something else. Now, these are just a couple of the things that I said that I've picked up on that I've been noticing. Also, with what happened in retrospect with Ridley, a lot of people are like, why did this happen? How come Samus is freaking out so much over this, as she's never done it before? Well, if you think about it, literally, Samus, she's always had the problem. Another reference to the manga. How did you survive that? It's not hard to dodge in first-person mode, I'm telling you that much. There you go. Now, as I was saying, Samus, as she literally saw her mom barbecued in front of her, and her dad blown up in a giant explosion, I would have to say that would probably cause some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder. Don't you think? I think that's what they were hinting at on the live commercial. Now, if you look at the original, if you look at it, that would also explain why Samus, you know, couldn't concentrate on keeping her suit up. Because, you know, it's more of a, yeah. Anyway, I would have a hard time concentrating too if I was reliving my past. But why Samus didn't think about this in the past? Easy. Look at the situation. Just look how it was all set up. It was dark, right? Other than the lava. Okay, I need to kill this guy quicker. It was dark. There was lava, you know, could have been like fire. And the horrible backlighting, to where you can only see the brights of the guy, you know, for these eyes. Oh, duh! Wow. Wow, that was sad. But whatever. I'm so used to doing bomb jumps. So overall, if you look at it from that aspect, it sort of almost recreated the scene of when Samus first met Ridley. If you guys haven't read it, read the manga. I'm saying it again. So overall, that is where I think that came from. I think they could have probably said it a little bit better. I think Ridley should talk again. I mean, I seriously think that Ridley should have a voice again. That probably would have been, he actually was pretty talkative in the original games. Actually, why am I even doing this? Will you just get out of my face? Alright. That's it. Okay. How in the world am I going to do hard mode if I can't even get past normal mode? Alright. Now, overall, I mean, he literally even said that, yeah, after I barbecued your mom, I ate her, and it tasted really, really good. I would say that would probably leave a lot of feelings and stuff for that post-traumatic stress disorder to actually kick on. Actually, what happens if I do this? Well, thank you for totally failing and not killing them. Alright, now, the next part. Ah, come on. A lot of people were kind of still curious on why she was that close to Adam. Well, if you look at it this way, Samus's father was in the Federation Army, right? Adam is a commanding officer in the Federation Army. As you can imagine, he could be considered a really easy father figure just by his position. But as Samus explained, it was a lot more than that. It was just how he treated her. Not to mention, as you can plainly see by him being, or by her even being in a family photo on his desk, he literally almost took care of her as if she was his daughter. Ah, come on. I just want to get down here. So as you can tell, if you ask me, that really shows that he was just trying to help her out. And I mean, why'd she leave? Because I'm pretty sure after yelling at him about him killing his brother, I would say that's pretty awkward, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's just a thought. Now, a lot of people didn't like the playstyle of this game because either they were like, oh duh. Now this is the thing that bugged me. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? You can spend 2 hours looking at it. It's like, oh, look at it's that little thing right there. Personally, I don't like that. They could have left that out and just made it part of the cutscene. Now, that's about it that I have to rant about today. But overall, if you guys didn't like the game, just play it for what it was. You know, put in the stuff that I said. Start thinking about it just a little bit. You're like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense now. You'll learn it's a very enjoyable game. Really clean animation playstyles. I mean, overall, if you ask me, it's one of the better games for the Wii right now, other than, of course, the trilogy. And for the people that said that they didn't... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the bottle ship is the sister ship to the BSL research station, so that might make a little bit more sense why this game's set up so much more. You know, so who knows, there might even be a lot more to this ship than you're actually seeing sector-wise. Who knows? There's been a lot of rumors going around that there might be a sequel to this game coming out. If it does, I hope they try explaining a little bit better the story to the people that do not understand what exactly is going on. I hope they do explain that. So to close out this video, I am going to beat this boss. Generally, these guys would go away. Okay. Woo! Alright, can I concentrate to actually get my health up? Concentrate. Okay. I tried dodging, but apparently it didn't want me to dodge. Got it. Just in time, too. Oh, jeez. Where'd you come from? Alright. Well, that's a nice view. That was the Metroid-Database rant. For you guys that are still not sure about playing this game, I would just rent it, play it through with these ideas in mind. You will like it.
Some creatures
Okay?
use the powers of
But
others to capture
if
their
you
prey.
don't understand something, do your
Watching this
research.
disgusting beast, I felt
Don't
as
just
though I
continue
was
playing
being
through the
caught
game,
by
because it's
a
going to be
cat.
one of those games where it's like, what is
At the
going
same
on?
time, a thought crossed my mind.
Alright? Just
That howl I
play
heard
through it
earlier,
with an open mind.
could this
Cut
creature
out
have
all
been
the hater
source?
reviews and just play it. That's all I have to say. Sorry for how long this thing was, but I had to get this out. Alright, so
Samus,
until next time,
the biosphere
this is...
test area in your current
That's what it was called, the Biosphere
This
Testing
is
Area.
important information
I couldn't
about
remember
this
that.
facility in that exam center.
Alright,
The other members are en route.
so
Quickly, go meet them there.
until next time, This is Salix 8675309. See you guys later.